I definitely appreciate you having me on this evening, and appreciate each and every one of you guys that are on here sharing your time with us to learn a little bit more about the project we're working on, and obviously how you can help us grow our community, and hopefully how we can help you achieve some of your goals and dreams and aspirations. I've been involved in traditional business, I guess for quite a while. Network marketing world, that's where I kind of got my start in business, and have built some pretty big organizations, and then kind of parlayed that into a few different big traditional businesses. Over the last 3 years, I've built 3 different companies that hit over $1 billion in revenue. And you know, I think for me, this project, I told a friend the other day, I was like, this is by far the biggest project I've ever been involved in. And whether we pull it off or not, that remains to be seen. But I was like, if we pull this off, it's going to dwarf everything I've ever done. And that includes, you know, a $10 billion accounting firm that we built up in the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And that's not a long time to build up that kind of revenue. But this will, if we pull it off, will dwarf everything that did. And I'm going to share with you guys just a quick overview, and I'll go through some of the kind of compensation highlights, how you could benefit financially by being a part of what we're doing. But I want to share with you kind of how I ended up getting here today and involved in this space, because being a traditional business owner, I was involved in the cryptocurrency space a little bit, just more as an investor. I started buying Bitcoin a while ago, right around $210 a coin, and I've never sold it. I've been buying it ever since. I had another big buy at 40,000, and then I literally just sent a wire today, and I don't know what I bought at, 68, 69,000, something like that, just from friends. They know to come to me if they want to sell Bitcoin, and I'll buy it. And I feel like it's undervalued. I think it's probably 11, 12 times below what it should be. You know, I think it belongs at a million, 1.2 million a coin. Now, I might be wrong, but that's why I'm buying it. That's why I hold on to it. And that's really all I did in the crypto space. Then back in 2017, early 2018, a good friend of mine, I was working on a software project in the cryptocurrency space with him. And he said, Tony, he's like, you got to buy these nodes for Gala Games. And I was like, what the heck is a node? And I'll explain it more in depth as we go through the presentation. But he goes, basically, these guys are going to borrow your computer and they'll run their business on your computer. And I go, okay, you know, and what do I get? He goes, well, they pay you in these Gala tokens. It's called Gala Games, and they'll give you these Gala tokens. I said, well, what's a Gala token worth? And this back in 2018, he goes, right now, nothing. And I just remember saying, no, it sounds awesome. You know, so these guys are going to borrow my computer and pay me in magic internet money that doesn't have any value. I was like, this is great. And he goes, well, it doesn't have value now, but he goes, if people start playing those games, it'll have a lot of value. And I was like, all right, you know, that's interesting. And I was supposed to call him in a few weeks, and I was going to buy 10 grand worth of nodes. And I just forgot. Like, I was busy, didn't think much of it, whatever. And I wasn't going to play games online or anything. So it just didn't cross my mind to call him back. Fast forward about a year and a half later, my friend had made a few $100 million in that project. And we went back, and I own other businesses with him. We have a software company out of Dubai together. And we went back about, maybe 8 months ago. And I was like, how many nodes would I have owned for 10 grand? And we did the math. And how many tokens, those Gala tokens, would they have processed? And it ended up, depending on when I would have started selling the tokens, somewhere between $5 and $10 million is what my 10 grand would have yielded. And that's not even the worst part necessarily for me missing out. If I had those nodes, they would still today be creating those Gala tokens for helping Gala run their gaming network. And I just looked the other day, like, Gala had the daily volume traded on CoinMarketCap. If you're into the crypto space, it was $427 million that day in tokens that had traded. And I was like, I messed up. Like, I thought back and I was like, man, I don't know what I was busy doing, but it couldn't have been that important that I couldn't have made a 10-minute phone call to my buddy and sent him the 10 grand. And I just didn't do it. And so October of last year, he called me and he said, hey, you got to meet with those guys that created the blockchain for Gala Games. He goes, they have 12 projects and they're getting ready to market them to the world. Some of them they've had working on for like 2-3 years, and now they're getting ready to market. And he goes, you need to see what they're doing. And because I had seen these guys in 2017, 2018, they had like 7 developers working with them back then. Today they have over 200. So when he called me, I said, hey, let's go. You know, I met these guys again in Vegas. I'd known them for several years, but they came in, they had leaders from different projects, and I'm going to share some of those people with you. One of them, I knew who she was. And when you kind of hear about who she was, you'll understand why I got really excited about what the projects they were working on really could potentially do in the marketplace. So that said, I'm going to share my screen, go through this presentation. I'm going to try and keep it kind of short, sweet, and to the point. There's a lot of information, but here's what I'll tell you. I might not answer every question you have on tonight's overview. You might end up with more questions by the time I'm done than when I started. But you will probably have an idea of, number one, whether you'd like to learn more about it because you're interested, or number two, whether you want to get rocking and rolling, you're ready to move. And that's really the goal tonight, is to just get you the information. And so the information they shared with me is really blockchain-based projects that tie what's called proof of action to real-world revenue. And that's not something that's ever been done in the blockchain. Bitcoin does not tie to real-world revenue in any way, shape, or form. And there's nothing right or wrong about that. But if you can tie a blockchain product to real-world revenue, you may end up building one of the best blockchains on the planet. If you're not familiar with what blockchain is, I'll simplify it. The internet, if you kind of break it down in its simplest form, it allows individuals like us to share information freely, instantaneously, all over the world without needing to wait on a third party. And what I mean by that is I know there's people on here probably old enough to remember, if we wanted to know if it was going to rain all day tomorrow, we had to wait for the weather to come on, and hey, the weatherman or weatherwoman would tell us what the weather was going to be the next day. Now, any of you could tell me if it's going to rain in Puerto Rico tomorrow. That's where I'm at. Actually, you could tell me whether it's going to rain in Beijing tomorrow. You know, like anything we want to know, that information's right there, thanks to the internet. Blockchain allows the free flow of value between individuals real time without the need of a third party. If Cedric puts together a project and we want to all of us say, hey, we're all going to send him 100 grand. Right now, we probably can't because our banks are closed. Unless you're in Australia or something, your bank's probably not even open. We got to wait till tomorrow. If it's Friday night, it'll be Monday before we can get that money out. But if Cedric said, hey, I'll do Bitcoin, and he sends us a Bitcoin wallet, we could send him 100 grand within 5 minutes. That transaction's fully done, fully complete. That's the value of blockchain. And it's not just currency. Maybe it's your tax documents. Maybe it's your health records. There's a lot of things that we add value and attach value to. So if we can do that on the blockchain seamlessly, that can be way more efficient than a traditional centralized internet. Blockchain's been adopted faster than any technology in history. And as Elon Musk says, it's a far better way to transfer values than a piece of paper. To get involved in our project, really we have 3 ways. One, people participate as a user, and I'll share some of the projects with you. Others participate by becoming a node owner. They purchase software and let the companies use it to basically power their network. And then others can help bring in other node owners, and you get rewarded for doing that as well. My first question with my buddy was, what is a node? And how he explained it made a lot of sense. He said, listen, he goes, you ever seen a cell phone tower on like farmland? And he goes, you know, Verizon doesn't go in and buy an entire farm. They lease a little portion of land, build the tower on it, and they'll pay that farmer every single month, like as a thank you for letting us host our network on your land. He goes, the nodes in this ecosystem, you're basically buying software. You can put it on your laptop, put it on your hard drive. You can have a company that hosts it for you in the cloud. And then the company will borrow your computer power and they'll pay you in these token rewards. Now, if you said, I want to buy a bunch of nodes, you can certainly do that. But I always tell people there's no guarantees. This is high risk, high reward. There's certain investments I invest in that are low risk. I have legacy oil wells. And all that means is like my grandkids will have to figure out how to cap those wells when they're done pumping oil. They pump for 65, 70 years. I also do oil exploration, where when I invest in that, sometimes they come up with a dry well. And if they don't strike oil, whatever I invest in that project is gone. This is no different. Like if you buy nodes, that's going to generate this magic internet money in whichever project you purchase the nodes in. And if no one ever uses that project, if the community doesn't ever grow, those tokens won't have any value. But if people start using those projects, and there's a lot of people around the world that are participating in the community, those tokens could be worth more than gold for sure. So our legal team is really making sure that all of us are crossing the T's, dotting the I's with each and every project. I've worked with Daniel, Kat, John. Ken Cuccinelli is our head legal advisor. He was the former attorney general for the state of Virginia, and he was the deputy secretary of Homeland Security for the United States of America for several years. And so as the laws change, the rules change, our legal team is on top of everything, making sure we're doing things the right way. The projects, I'm not going to share all, 14 of them that are pretty major right now. I'll give you a few highlights. Galvin is our health and wellness project. I met with Dr. Adam Sharp, very, very impressive gentleman. He was high up at Kaiser Permanente in California, and then he ended up leaving Kaiser to work on this project. And it's basically geared to do a few things. Number one, give us as individuals control over our own health and wellness. There's an app you can download to your phone, the Galvin app. You can hook a wearable up to it as well, but it'll listen to your voice. It uses the Amazon Alexa AI technology, and it can literally tell you whether you're high energy, low energy, whether you're high stress or low stress. And if you're high stress, it'll give you activities to lower your stress. If you're low energy, it'll give you activities to increase your energy. And if you do them, it'll reward you in that token for basically getting healthier. Now, the big goal for Galvin is to allow us as individuals to store our health records, our DNA records, all on the blockchain. And if you did that, and I don't know if you've ever tried to get your health records, I realized pretty quickly, I was doing some stem cell stuff. I was asking Via Christi Sports Medicine for my health records. It was kind of like it was their health records, and I was just begging them to let me have access to them. I had to jump through so many hoops, and that's not how it should be. I should be able to go, hey, Via Christi, here's access to my health records. And then when I leave that hospital, I can pull them back away from them. But the end goal is for us to be able to anonymously share our health records, our DNA records with the blockchain, get paid to do it, and then AI will aggregate all of our health data, because that's not doable right now. The health records are also fractured and so many different rules. But if we control them on the blockchain, and AI could consolidate with, a few hundred users, which is what's on this call tonight, not that big of a deal with that much health data. But with a few million, it's even better. A few 100 million. What if we had 1 billion users? What that would do is pretty much eliminate rare diseases from the planet. Because if your neighbor's daughter came down with some rare disease and you were part of this project, you go, no, you got to download this app, load your daughter's health records on here, load her DNA on here. Within a nanosecond, the AI technology would say, this is not that rare. There's 7,482 people in our database that have the exact same diagnosis, the exact same disease. And actually, these 783 people between 3 different continents utilized this treatment program and had amazing success. AI's recommendation is get with the current physician, share this data, and see if they're willing to start the treatment procedure right away. That's the big goal for Galvin, is to help people be healthier and help the world be healthier as well. Grow is one of my favorite blockchain projects. This is our agricultural project. This is basically allowing us as consumers to control and understand everything we're eating and putting in our body. Because most people don't think about it, but there's about 10 companies that control pretty much everything we eat. There's a couple conglomerates that are above these guys like Cargill and Monsanto, but you've got, Mondelez, which was Kraft, Kellogg's, General Mills, Unilever. There's a lot of major companies. I would argue sometimes they're probably filling us more with chemicals than they are actual food. And what we can do is give you back control over what you're putting in your body. Imagine ordering a steak at a restaurant and it comes out with a QR code. And if you snap that QR code, it would say, hey, Tiffany, this is cattle number 1176459 from Royal Ranch Farms in Washington State. This is certified free-range Angus, never been injected with hormones, never been injected with steroids. It grazed on 1,167.5 pounds of grass during its lifetime here at the farm. We processed this cow 23 hours ago. It was shipped refrigerated, never frozen. Now it's there for you to enjoy. And if you like that steak, if you go, man, this is one of the best steaks I've ever had, you can actually use the app and order it directly from the farm. You'll get it cheaper than you would at the grocery store. And the farmer, by cutting out those commodities markets and companies like Monsanto and Cargill, they would actually make a more profit selling directly to you than going through the commodities markets. So it's a win-win on both sides of the equation. The other thing that's great, I have the Grow nodes that operate the Grow network, and I get the Grow tokens for doing that. There's actually a Grow farm 7 minutes from where I live here in Puerto Rico. I can use my Grow tokens to buy steak, bacon, eggs, fruits, vegetables, milk, honey, whatever I want that's there, that's sourced at that farm. I can use my tokens to pay for it. I don't have to pull out a credit card. I don't have to pull out my wallet. I just pull out my phone, pay with cryptocurrency, pay with my tokens.
I actually did a Zoom this morning with a close friend of mine who is already in the ag space, and he's telling me how they're already moving forward with government agencies requiring this, requiring food be on the blockchain so that it's trackable, traceable, so that you can know what's in your food. So this is something that is going to blow up because it's already where the government agencies are asking companies to go.
Element is our mining blockchain. This is basically a blockchain certificate that mines can get if they're open to an audit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And this is to ensure that they utilize ethical mining practices. Tiffany's has partnered with our company to basically blockchain all their jewelry. We have the 7th most valuable diamond in Tiffany's history. It's about a mile away from where I live right now at one of my buddies' houses. Through this project, they want him to basically put that blockchain certificate on that diamond. It would tell you who found that diamond, how old they are, how long they've been at that mine. Because I think if we all had a choice, we'd always want an adult mining for us rather than some 11-year-old kid at gunpoint mining for lithium to put in our smartphones, right? And not only that, when the mines are depleted, our blockchain certificate ensures that they come in behind that dead land and they plant mangrove trees, they backfill with farmable soil. That way they're not just leaving dead holes in the ground everywhere. So that's the mining blockchain that we're excited about. This is probably the reason that I went so aggressive into these projects initially. I own a credit card processing company that's pretty good size. We do maybe 4 to 5 billion a year in transactions. And I was in the presentation for these different projects, and I saw Kathy Roberts walk into the room. And because of my background in credit card processing and banking, I knew who she was. And I had a friend there with me. I was like, hey, I was like, do you know who that is? He was like, he's not a banking guy. I was like, he's like, no. I was like, she's one of the founders of Discover Card. And he's like, really? He goes, I use Discover Card. I was like, yeah, I got a Discover Card too. I was like, you can thank her. And I said, she was the president of Discover Bank for several years as well. And I told him, I said, man, if Kathy, because she was retired, I said, man, if Kathy came out of retirement to work on this project, I was like, we better pay really close attention, because I was like, she's way smarter than either of us will ever be. And I said, she knows something we don't, bro. And he said, all right, man. So we paid attention, and she shared with me the Switch wallet. And actually, she was able to get me on the beta of that wallet. It's live now. It was the best crypto wallet I've ever seen in my life.
Back in the late 90s, she worked for Sears. Sears tasked her to head up a way of giving back rewards to their shoppers. And they went to Visa, they went to MasterCard, and they told them, sorry, we don't do that. So Sears, at least here in the US being so big, decided, well, we could create our own. So she created Discover Card, Discover Bank, started giving people back rewards for their shopping. And I mean, nowadays, where do you not see a credit card that doesn't give you 2% for putting in gas? They give you rewards left and right, whether it be air miles or some other reward. First ones that did this.
They had a non-custodial wallet. What that means is if they went out of business tomorrow, all my crypto that's on that non-custodial wallet, I can go get it. I have a 12 seed phrase. I can get a cold wallet, download it, put it in my computer, put in my seed phrase, recover all my crypto. No big deal. They have a custodial wallet, which I tell people only move to a custodial wallet what you're wanting to use. But if you put Bitcoin in that custodial wallet or Ethereum, it's immediately available on the Switch Visa card. You could go out to dinner. If you had $1,000 in Bitcoin in that custodial wallet and you wanted to use it, you just swipe your Visa card, pay your $200 for dinner. It'll sell $200 worth of Bitcoin, pay off your debit card. Boom, you just use crypto to pay for your meal. That's the missing piece in the blockchain world. My mom would never, she has Bitcoin, but she'd never know how to use it. But she knows how to use a Visa card. And so if I put some Bitcoin on her wallet, on her custodial wallet, she could use her Visa and use Bitcoin all day long, Ethereum all day long. Eventually, every one of the tokens from our project will be available on that Visa card. So yeah, so if you've got regular people that can use cryptocurrency and blockchain without knowing they're using crypto and blockchain, they just know their lives better, their lives are easier. That's how the internet works. My mom doesn't know how to code or what HTML is, but she can check out on Amazon. She can watch the Pittsburgh Penguins on ESPN Plus if she wants to. She knows how to do all that. And so that's where we're headed. And that's what Switch helps us to do. The two newest projects I actually helped introduce into the blockchain. Rev is our automotive project, all cars. This is one that Ferrari's actually already a part of. They're wanting us to NFT their Ferraris as they come off the line. We also have Rev Rideshare, which think about Uber being completely decentralized. And the cool thing about our projects is they're already live. Like if you're in Miami, if you're in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach, New Orleans, you can take a ride on Rev. And it's about 15 to 20% cheaper than if you took an Uber on the exact same ride. If you're a driver, you're making about 30 to 40% more on the exact same ride versus Uber or Lyft. Now, you can help us grow this ecosystem. You can say, listen, I've got a bunch of people who like to drive. Imagine making $1. If you introduced me as a driver for Rev and you made $1 every time I took somebody on a ride forever. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the average driver will do about 20 rides a day. What if you had 10 drivers making $200 a day? 5 days a week, making $4 or $5 grand a month because you introduced drivers, not including the token rewards you'd be getting for bringing in drivers to the blockchain. Now, if you're a driver and you pick someone up, you get tokens. You get real money, but you also get tokens. If you're a rider and you get in the car, you get tokens. You tip the driver, you get tokens. Driver gets tipped, they get tokens. Give the driver a rating, you get tokens. Give him a 5-star rating, the driver gets tokens. So we have rewards for proof of action that tie to real world revenue. Our newest project is called Rally. It's launching in a couple weeks. It's like Zoom, only better. And what's way better is you get paid to use it. There's no real loyalty in the video conferencing space. If you think about it, if Sed would have sent me a Google Meet link, I'd be on Google Meet. If he would have sent us a Microsoft Teams, I'd be on Microsoft Teams. But he sent us a Zoom. But if Cedric was getting paid in token rewards for using a platform, he'd never send another Zoom link again. He'd want to get paid. Who wouldn't? So this, I'm probably most bullish on this project because at the end of the day we launch this project, we'll be doing meetings in China, Indonesia, Japan, South America, Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, every state in the United States. I mean, it'll go viral globally day number one.
This is the reason why they've already had huge calls with banks, government institutions, with everybody trying to get on this because Zoom can be hacked. A hacker can get on this Zoom. A hacker can get on, some banking Zoom or some government Zoom, and they're now listening to sensitive data that shouldn't be shared with anybody else. So a lot of these companies are really looking how blockchain can now provide security when they do these video conference calls. And that's what Rally is doing, bringing security, bringing safety to this platform and rewarding everybody for using it.
To get started, it's free. You can download a free smart wallet. Whoever invited you on to the webinar, obviously, if Cedric invited you personally, then say your prayers because I don't know anybody better in the space. But they can get you their link, get you locked in, get you signed up, download your free smart wallet. If you're interested in participating more than just, hey, I just want to get in and kind of use some of the services, I would tell you figure out what projects get you the most excited. I would pick up at least one win node, which actually there's a coupon, they're $500 each. One win node minimum. I run 5 of them. There's an algorithm reason I do that. I get a little bit extra points, which gives me extra rewards, but you certainly don't ever need to buy one win node. If you sold 5 win nodes, the algorithm gives you 1 free win node. So you can actually earn a win node if you don't want to purchase one, but I ended up getting 5 of them. And then I looked at the different projects and I figured out which projects I was most excited about. And I started buying nodes in those projects. In October, I bought $3 million worth of these nodes, all the different projects. I spread them out. And then as I learned more and more, and I met with Kathy again, I met with some of the people that were really putting these projects together, I started to realize like, this is probably in the cryptocurrency ecosystem as a whole, this is probably the last bull run where people like us can make 500 or 1,000x on our efforts that we put in, on our money, everything that we put into these projects. Now we could certainly make 0x. I mean, that's why it's risk. But what I love most about these projects is I knew I could help move the needle. I knew if I brought in a bunch of people to use the software for video conferencing, my token value would probably go up. If I brought in a bunch of users for rideshare, the rideshare token would go up. And it's an ecosystem that's synergistic. If I'm driving here in Puerto Rico for the rideshare and getting those Rev tokens, I could go to the grow farm and use them. I could buy my groceries with my rideshare tokens. They'd give me my bacon, eggs, milk, cheese, biscuits, whatever they sourced on the farm there, and I'd walk out. That's a real world utility for blockchain and cryptocurrency that's never happened in history. As you help to build the ecosystem, 70% of what comes in is paid out through the node owner network. So there's a lot that can get paid out. And our timing, I heard a billionaire say the other day, I was on a Zoom with him, and he goes, timing isn't everything. It's the only thing. And our timing couldn't be better. Actually, the World Economic Forum back in 21 said that blockchain is set to disrupt 867 trillion in traditional markets. Now today it's over 1.3 quadrillion, which is kind of nuts to think it could be that big, but it's going to happen with or without us. I remember back in the 90s, companies like Google, you know, Amazon came out. Everybody, oh, they're internet companies. It's an internet company. They're one of those internet companies. Nobody says that anymore. It's just companies. Like every company's on the internet. Like if you're not a real business for the most part. Like you're not going to be that big, that successful. So right now, when I explain to people what I'm doing, I'm like, I got these blockchain projects, these blockchain companies. I have to say that a year or two from now, it'll just be companies. And when that happens, the people that were involved in internet companies, we know their names. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk with PayPal. There's so many people that are household names, not just in the US, but around the planet, because they were building in the internet when they were called internet companies. What is possible for us building in the blockchain space when everybody's calling it a blockchain company? It's nonstop, guys. I would tell you, create your free account, go through our compliance training in the back office, explore your favorite projects, pick up nodes in your favorite projects, and you're on your way to creating that massive community. Now, how you earn, I'll finish up with this. There's two different sides to compensation. There's USDT compensation, which is basically money right now that pays out daily. And you can make some good money there. My buddy Darren, his first 5 weeks has made over $80,000 in USDT, meaning he pulled it out, put it in his bank account. But he's made millions of token rewards, which right now, there's some value there. He could sell it. One day he had 1.2 million win token rewards for the day, which, you know, that's maybe $1,000, $2,000, not bad. But he's holding on to those because if that token does anything near what the Gala token did, he might have had a $600,000 or $800,000 day if he sheds those tokens after they skyrocket. Now, again, could they go to zero? For sure. But he can help build the community to help ensure that the value goes up. It starts with the Win blockchain. I always tell people that's the first node you should start with. It's our sales and marketing blockchain. It gives you additional rewards for every other node that you operate. And then the other nodes, people always go, what nodes are you interested in? What nodes are you most excited about? And I tell people this. Number one, figure out what projects you feel like you can move the needle in the most. That's where you should purchase nodes. And then I look at the newest projects because they pay more token distributions for the node owners, year number one than year number two. And so Grow is a year number one project. Rev Rideshare is a year number one project. Rally, the meeting software, is a year number one project. So the mathematics and the tokenomics are in our favor there. As far as levels in the comp plan, I'm actually holding a vote to add a couple more levels beyond this. But right now there's 3 levels. Droid, someone just signs up, grabs a Win Smart node. Blockbot, that's somebody that sells 5 Win Smart nodes. And then there's Blockbot node. That's somebody that's got basically 5 Blockbots rocking and rolling. There's proof of action rewards at each level. The higher up you are, the more proof of action rewards you can receive. I won't get too in depth into the details of the comp plan, but I do want to cover some high level stuff. There's direct sales reward of 10%. You bring me in, I buy some nodes, you get a 10% rip. That's USDT, plus you'll get a rip in the tokens as well, which could be well more valuable than the actual USDT. But USDT is basically US dollars right away. There's confirmation rewards. If you're a first Blockbot, you can also get a confirmation reward. So if you're a Blockbot and bring me in, you can make 20%. At the second Blockbot, you can make another 10% override. And then Blockbot node, there's some additional overrides as well. Personal sales, pretty simple. Like I said, bring people in, they buy nodes, you make 10%. You bring me in, I buy 100,000 worth of nodes, you make 10 Gs. If you're a Blockbot, you make 20%. You get the 10% transaction reward the 10% BlockBot 1 reward. So you bring me in, I buy 100,000 worth of nodes, you make 20 Gs, USDT. You'll also get tokens as well, but the USDT will help you pay the bills right away. If you are building under people and helping them, you can make confirmation rewards and a BlockBot run reward as well. Second BlockBot means you're a BlockBot, I'm under you, and I'm a BlockBot, you still make a percentage off of me. So you can help people that actually start to produce and start to do well, which obviously we want to incentivize leaders to help the leaders in their team. BlockBot node creates a 5% open line infinitely down. If there's no other BlockBot nodes in your line, in that one particular line, you'll make 5% off the revenue infinitely. If I'm under you, maybe 40 levels below, and I get to BlockBot node, I'm going to cut off that 5%. Now it comes to me. But you still get 3% below me. That's called the first generation. And then if somebody under me, let's say 50 levels below me, Kendra gets to BlockBot node, she's going to cut off my 5%. She's going to cut off your 3%, but you're still going to make 2% below her infinitely down until somebody under her finally hits BlockBot. Then it'll cut you off. Can't pay infinitely on this bonus, but the node operator awards, we can. We pay 10% of each smart node sale distributed back to all BlockBots running their Win Smart node. So if I bring somebody who's not in your team or in your friend chain, but you're in the blockchain running your node, that's going to benefit you. You're going to get tokens for that. You're going to get rewarded for that. And then as you help to build the community, there's points that add up, and you get points based on what we call your friend chain, the teams that you build. And I would always tell people, build 5 teams if you can. If you're a builder, build 5 or more teams. You can build 1 team, you can build 2, you can get rewarded for that. But if you go 5 or more, it pretty much is going to help you get into that top 50,000, top 5,000, top 500, or eventually into the top 50, where they take 2% of all that day's revenue and they split it up amongst the top 50. They take 2.5% and split it up amongst the top 500, top 5,000, top 50,000. It can be very, very lucrative. Total sales payout, 70%. So that's really the nuts and bolts, guys. I'll turn it back over to Cedric. And again, I know it's a ton of information. Here's what I'd like to do to wrap up, to simplify this. I buy stuff on Amazon quite a bit. And my wife does, I guess, more than I do. We haven't used a credit card on Amazon in years. I can't remember the last time, because we have Amex points. And those Amex points, I have millions of them. I don't know how much they're all worth. I have to look. But every time I check out, no matter how much I buy, it basically is like $0.00 due, because it's using my Amex points. Our projects, if you're a driver for our ride share, it's like you're getting the points and rewarded for doing your job. If you're using the meeting software, it's like you're getting rewarded for using your meeting software. The difference is, it probably takes like 1,000 points in Amex to equal $1 in purchases. And right now, that's probably how it is now. You might need 1,000 tokens to equal $1. But if the communities grow, 1 token could be worth $1,000 in the future. And that's why I got so excited about this project. In December, I put 50 million into the project, and I put another million into the project in mid-March, like just a couple weeks ago. And I always tell people this, like, I don't recommend doing that. I recommend figuring out, like, what do you have that you could put into these projects that if things went wrong, it wouldn't devastate you. Don't take out a second mortgage. Don't, borrow money from the bank to buy nodes. You shouldn't do that. Like, I don't think that's prudent. And a lot of people go, well, you put, 54 million in. And I go, yeah, but honestly, if things went terrible, and all these projects suck and they're all worth zero, my life will not change at all. Like, I have 2 jets before I ever got involved in these projects. I've got $100 million worth of real estate around the United States and the world before I ever got involved in these projects. I have a $10 billion accounting firm before I ever got in these projects, a $4 or $5 billion credit card processing firm before I got involved in these projects. Like, I can lose 54 million and it won't bother me. I guess it would bother me, but my life wouldn't change. I would be upset, not for me, but because here's what I know. If I'm right about these projects and we absolutely crush it together and we work together to build this community, I know I can help more people. I started a mission not long ago with my pastor, Mission Grace, and we've made some major strides to be able to impact young people around the world, to be able to impact people that maybe don't see hope. I've started to build office space and office buildings here in Puerto Rico, and we're hiring locals, and I'm paying them the same salary that I pay people that are working in my New York office, that I pay people working in my Ohio office, Minnesota, Mississippi, Kansas, where our big headquarters is for the accounting firm. I pay them the same because I can afford to, and because I know they're doing the same work, they have the same skill sets, and I think they deserve to get paid a fair wage. And I tell you what, the Puerto Rican companies do not pay them that much. And I know this, if I do, I'll get the best of the best. They'll tell their friends, they'll bring me the best employees, and we'll have them forever. And we'll pay them way more than anybody else in this space would. And I want these projects to work because I know what kind of difference we can make in not only our lives, but the communities that we live in. And the impact that we can make can be long lasting. So I do, again, appreciate each and every one of you sharing your time with me to learn more about our projects, to learn more about what we're doing. The beauty of this project is I don't own it. Nobody does. I'm a community member, just like Cedric, just like my buddy Darren, just like Kendra. Like, we're all community members. We all vote together. If we want to change the way a CEO acts or fire a CEO, we can vote on it. And that's great. If we all have that ownership, we all are vested. We're all working together towards one common goal. And that's how you can take on a company like Uber. That's how you can take on a company like Zoom, and not only take them on, but you can beat them. And so I appreciate you guys. Cedric, thanks again for having me on. I'll turn it back over to you, and certainly happy to do any Q&A and answer any questions people might have.
First of all, Tony, thank you so much. We're going to keep this a clean Zoom. You did an awesome job. 99% of the questions are answered. So I'm humbled that you were able to spend this time here with us. I truly appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing so much information and also sharing your heart, my friend. You know, ladies and gentlemen, as we close this out, I want to make sure that we're clear with some things here. You know, I've been lucky enough to be in this industry for well over 2+ decades, and I've seen a lot of different companies, and I'm presented a lot of things on a regular. And I knew about Connect a couple of years ago, but the timing wasn't right. And everything's about timing in life, right? And as you can look around, you can see a couple of hundred people that are on the Zoom right now as we speak. And we are literally 1 week deep with our team. So here's what I'm going to advise everybody to do right now. I want you to get with the person who introduced you to the Zoom ASAP. That will be called now o'clock, and say, I need your link and I need to get started right now. Secondly, it's extremely important that you take advantage of one of the projects. I'm going to highly advise that you at least get a WinNode or 5 while they're definitely on sale. Yes, you can join for free. Yes, you can join for free. However, as you refer people, if you do not own a node, that commission is going to roll up. So you need to own a node so you can be a part of the ecosystem. Otherwise, you'll refer your first 5 and then you'll get paid beyond that. I don't think anybody here wants to be doing any community service with the person that introduced them to this Zoom. If you want to do community service, find your nearest 7-Eleven, steal a pack of M&Ms and a Slurpee and run out the door. And when the police chase you and you go to court, they'll give you community service. Other than that, get into the system, get you a node, and get started ASAP. They call our team TTO for a reason. You see some of the best leaders that are on this Zoom that have decided to lock arms with this opportunity. And now you have the same thing on your plate. You heard Tony say it earlier. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. So I would tell you, don't hesitate, don't meditate, don't procrastinate, don't pacificate. I know pacification isn't a word, but it sounded really good. And I like to sound like Don King every now and then.
That game was free, but then you start buying these little things to make you better, make you faster, whatever that app provided. He came and he said, I see a problem in the gaming space that is evolving in this black market where people are playing games, people are buying in-app things. There's no place for them to sell them legally, because with a lot of these platforms, they will allow you to gift these items. So, like I said, for instance, my son plays Fortnite and he buys all these skins. Every single week he wants a new skin. Every single week he wants a new gun. So, this game that's free to play, he's already spent more than I've ever spent in any game in my lifetime. So he spent probably easily over $500 in just a few years. All those things he buys, there's no, once he stops using that skin, that gun, whatever, because he has a better one, there's no other thing he can do with it. So, what was created is a lot of people started doing a black market where they saw value in these things and they would go to somebody and say, you want it? Come and buy it for me for crypto, and then I'll gift it to you. So in a lot of these games, there's a black market where a lot of people can go and buy these rare items, even though you're not supposed to. And, they do that. So it's another multi-billion-dollar industry where people are doing these things on the black market. So with that, seeing that problem, Eric came to Right and said, hey, I know that you do blockchains. I need to mesh my gaming on a blockchain, allowing people to now buy those things in the games and sell them if they don't want them anymore. If they decide they want to play a different game, they can now take that value and, move that to a different game. Or if they're great gamers, they can now earn these things in games and really make money from gaming. And they came up with this whole concept called play to earn, or earn to play. But basically, you're making money for playing games. So with that, they created this blockchain. We believed in it. So we came in here and we bought, I believe, over 300 nodes and started mining these. And the problem was that at the beginning, there was no place we can trade these tokens. The games were being delayed. So every single time, people were getting frustrated. People were saying that there was issues. But, that is what happens with a lot of these ecosystems. They're new. They're barely coming out. So it's all about seeing the vision of the project, believing in the project. We, besides that, also believe in the people. So, it's that idea of bringing gaming. Gaming, for all those that don't know, is a huge industry. It's bigger than the movie industry, the whole film industry, and the whole music industry. Gaming is bigger than those two combined. So, all of us are always watching movies. We always hear how many millions of dollars each movie makes every time it comes out on theater, but we don't take into account how big, how immense this industry is of gaming. So, with that, we started mining, and for a while we were just mining our tokens. I believe at first we were getting 2,000 tokens per node, and we just saw them as little points on our PC screen, because there wasn't an exchange where we could take it on. There wasn't all that infrastructure, so people got frustrated. But a few of the people that we ended up reselling some of our nodes to, started coming back and started telling us how, hey, this isn't a real project. We want our money back. And, we decided to reimburse them for their nodes and gave them back to Connect. We ended up at the end keeping 337 nodes. And, 6 months later, the nodes started mining. 6 months later after that, or a few months later after that, the game started coming on board. A few months after that, it started getting on one exchange, on another exchange, on another exchange. Like I said, at first we were getting 2,000. We were getting 2,000 tokens a day, but they were worth 0.0040 zeros and a 2. So we're talking about 40 cents a day. Fast forward to the future, we're now getting, current price of this is about 5.6 cents. I mean, the amount we're making because of these nodes, is incredible. And not that any of these other projects will do the same, but this is something where we see the power. We see now that these blockchain technologies are now being moved, as it did in the gaming, into multiple industries and can help solve an issue in multiple ways.
So this is our first company that we launched called Gala Games. I bought 11 software nodes. I wasn't a gamer. Matter of fact, I really just didn't know how this project was going to go, considering I think my last video game I ever played was Donkey Kong or Tetris. Some of you guys old enough on this call kind of can relate to that. I was not a gamer. A lot of the guys that helped launch this platform, they were big gamers. They had a bigger vision than I did. They bought a lot more nodes than I did. And it's kind of crazy to say I was probably the one that made the least amount out of all my friends, and I made over $10 million. So it's kind of crazy. This is not some get rich quick. This is not get rich slow. This is investing in blockchain technology. And they found a need in the gaming sector that they felt the void for, where you could actually play these games and earn digital rewards for your nodes. So right here, you'll see this was 12 hours ago. I'm still getting distribution of my nodes. We got these nodes June of 2019. Right here, I'll just kind of show you what happens is when you have a software node, those software nodes have a responsibility. They go to work every single day. And because I own those software nodes, I get distribution every single day, 7 days a week. So when we got this thing online, I was getting distribution 7 days a week for a year and a half, 2 years, and eventually these things, this token started getting on exchanges, and then it had monetary value. And I watched that thing go from 3 cents, 5 cents, 12 cents, 30 cents, 40, 50, 60, 70, 84 cents. And I was like, holy cow. I was sitting on, and I'll show you right here, this is my ledger. I was sitting on roughly about $10.2 million liquid, and I just blown away. I just like, what in the world am I supposed to do? So I called my mom, and I had a moment. A grown man shed some tears. I'm not too proud to say it. It was very crazy. And I said, you know what? She says, what are you going to do now? I said, I kind of want to go get my dream car, but I'm afraid to go get it. She goes, you've got enough money to go get 37 Bentleys cash. If you don't go get it now, when will you ever get it? Pat yourself on the back, go treat yourself. And I did. So I've always wanted a Bentley. I've had it on my vision board for 14 years and treated myself to it. And I sit it there and I just kind of wept a little bit. I said, wow, dreams do come true if you link your arms up with the right people, go in the right places. But most of all, you have to take action. It does no good if the perfect opportunity comes across your desk and you say, this just sounds too good to be true. Some of you guys, you've probably watched the TV show Shark Tank. So on episode 1, there's a guy named Kevin Harrington. He's on Shark Tank. He's a good buddy of mine. I've known Kevin for 20 years. I'm here in Tampa. This is where I lived for 25 years. Kevin and I did a Zoom 2 days ago, and I'm sitting here showing my back office, and I'm showing him everything. I'm showing him the blockchains. He goes, Billy, I've known you a long time. This just looks too good to be true. I said, yeah, so it's God's salvation, but here we are. So you can sit there and doubt it. You can sit there and say, this is insane, because these rewards right here, we had when I bought these nodes, they were $1,000 each, these nodes. Now, if you try to buy one of these Gala nodes, there's only a few left. You can get them for about 120,000 each, but they've minted me, as you see right here. Here's my withdrawals 2 years ago, right here. Can't make this up, guys. This is my literally back office. 1 million, 100,000, 100,000. These are all withdrawals. Boom, boom, boom. 2 million, 1 million. So I like to show people that just so they see this is real. We signed Snoop to this platform, but this is real. This went straight to my bank account, paid for my car. Then, as Dee mentioned, I'm building a beautiful dream home right off the strip, paid for cash, which is kind of crazy to spend that kind of money cash on a house. But I wanted to pull that out of the crypto world. into real assets. So I did that. So this was one of the first projects we launched. I'm still getting right now about 15,000 a month coming in off this particular account, which is really nice. Now I'm going to jump over here. Now this is only a quick overview, guys. I'm not telling you you're going to get rich. I'm not telling you that that these tokens will ever go to 84 cents. I'm simply showing my story exactly. You know, I can talk, you know, we have a really good compliance team, and they're like, Billy, you're different because you've been here from day one. You're not out there forecasting what other people what like a lot of companies tell you what you could make or anything else. I'm not out here trying to tell you what you can make. I'm showing you what I've already made, so it's a big difference.
So click the link below, get with the person that introduced you to the Zoom, and allow me to be the very first person to welcome you to Connect. Good night, everybody.